Thanks so much, everyone, for staying with us. So today, Yaga Africa, a democracy and governance development organization, convened a policy roundtable on the electronic transmission and collation of election results, bringing together key stakeholders to assess Nigeria's preparedness for digital election result management ahead of the 2027 general elections. The event brought together representatives from INEC, the Inter-Party Advisory Council, CSOs, and election experts to discuss reforms aimed at improving transparency, credibility, and efficiency in the electoral process. But there are explanations as to some of the worries stakeholders are having ahead of the elections. If you look at what happened in Ekiti, there are a lot of suspicious manner in which the election result collation process went. Let me allow you to listen to some of the issues that were raised.
INEC has upgraded the IREV, it has upgraded the BVAS. What are these upgrades? The public needs to know. Yes, you go to meetings, INEC talks about this, but often people cannot just reference speeches that are made, especially when those speeches are not on record. So it's important that INEC puts out, a document that explains the results management regime.
We are confident we will be able to handle these issues. We've conducted several elections, by-elections, governorship elections, since the 2023 election, and the incidents that we have. And everybody...
All right. Let's talk about this and break it down. Let's make it make sense to every Nigerian. Because if you don't understand, I will make you understand. If you go to vote, that vote is useless when the result is not credible. And now, there are those who think that there are issues around how the result is being collated. You know, the IREV, if you have not heard of it, it is a way and manner in which the results are being dumped in a portal which you as a citizen have access to. But you know what happened in Ekiti? For several hours, the results were not coming into the IREV. All of a sudden, the result came in bulk. Boom. It stopped. After some time, it came again. Boom. In one fell stroke. And there are those who are wondering, what kind of technology? But there are those things that INEC have done in the background, in upgrade, in update, in the review of the process. But who knows? How did they go about it? Are they informing people? They are just doing this in silo and in the quiet of their offices? And it raises a lot of questions about the credibility of the electoral umpire. So I have one man who understands the system. He worked several years there. He served as the director of legal, the director of voter education and publicity. He's also a very senior lawyer. Mr. Oluwole Osasiwuzi is live for us here in our studio. Thanks so much indeed for your time tonight.
Thank you for having me.
You were at the round table.
Yes,
the explanation, and a lot of Nigerians, look, without the trust in the process, Nigerians will have a problem with the election. People will not go out. People don't think that the results are legitimate. Correct. Now, how do you explain what INEC has done in the background? They've quite done a few work on the IREM, but nobody knew until today, perhaps.
That is correct. First of all, it's important to note that IREV is now recognized in the Electoral Act. We had the challenges before now that the 2022 Act and the judgments that came post-2022 to say that IREV is the creation of the INEC guidelines, but not a creation of the Electoral Act. So the position of IREV has been strengthened by that. And I think banking on that, the Commission went ahead to do a lot of work. And you're quite right. I am somewhat close to the Commission, but I did not know, most participants did not know all the things that had been done by the Commission. It was as if it was winking in the dark, And I think one of the take-homes from today was that, look, if you've done so much, you should let this information come out to the public. There should be a lot of publicity, a lot of enlightenment to people so that people know of it. And because it's critical to developing and reestablishing trust. Recall that after 2023, a lot of trust was lost. And in the intervening period, there's been a trust deficiency between the electorate, the people who are the major stakeholders, and the Commission, INEC. So the director of ICT was there, one or two directors were there, National Commissioner represented the chairman. They came to explain step by step all the things that they have done. And yeah, I think there are some marked improvements in that process. And of course, they gave us some assurances. But they also took a lot back, I hope, and I hope they'll take listen to those things. You're doing a lot, but you can't be having an incestuous conversation. You can't just be doing things in the background from your offices.
They are behaving like a secret society. For an organization that is supposed to serve as a public, everything that INEC is doing, at least the fidelity of the process needs public communication.
Absolutely. You are serving the public. It's the public, especially IREF, for example. IREF, it's a viewing portal. It's for people, the public to see, stakeholders, voters to see these things. And if you're not letting this information, it's 5 months to the next round of general elections. So people have to know, and it's now that it starts. Going to Osun now, you should give it a lot more publicity. So Osun will give up a flip, hopefully. We'll give up a flip so that there'll be a lot more in terms of publicity, in terms of enlightenment, so that people know. And already, INEC had a responsibility to win back all those who had lost trust in the system, that their votes will count. A lot of people out there, and that's what we kept telling them. Like, a lot of people don't believe that this system, these results will count. We believe that the people believe that the results will be manipulated. And recent off-cycle elections have shown and proven that right from 2023 on going on to Kogi, Essex and Edo and things like that. People are not so sure. Ekiti, things happen in Ekiti as well, from what I'm told. So you have to reassure the public that their votes will come, for them to come out to want to stay in the sun and the rain to cast their votes.
Our process is getting more digital. And not only that it's getting digital, the law also is getting to recognize the computerized and the digitized aspect of it. For example, there is now a digital Form EC8A. Which, of course, a lot of people will believe that before now, the only one recognized by law is the physical Form EC8A. The digital EC8A is one of the issues that, personally, studying some of the concerns of stakeholders, is that INEC needs to give us an understanding and confidence that the digital Form EC8A is not seen by another person. First and foremost, cleared and, touched or, goes through one third party before the public is able to vet it. Because the question here is that, and if you can bring up the slides so that I can show you some of the things that Yaga Africa, I'll show you from the page 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, where they highlighted how results came in.
Yes.
At about 4 o'clock, the results were trickling in. About 5 o'clock, it came in almost 40 or 50%.
It deluge.
It stopped for almost an hour again. Then it came in again. Then it means that something is wrong. For someone who understands the system in INEC, what should INEC be doing immediately? And you mentioned that there was a lack of trust after the 2023 election. And Professor Amopiton needs to do something, fix it, and repair the reputation of INEC. Is Osun a very great opportunity for INEC to do that?
Well, absolutely. I have some, I don't know if we'll use the word sympathy for Professor Amopiton. He's taken up a yeoman's job, quite honestly, because he was not responsible. He was not there in 2023 when the technical glitch did what we all know what's happened in 2023. He was not there going to the off-cycle elections, but he has been there subsequently, and he has to carry the can in that regard. So he has a difficult job. It is his responsibility now to build trust in that system, to show that he's different and that things that were done previously will not reoccur. By the way, I'm not too sure I agree with you on that digital EC8A. The law does not recognize any digital EC8A. Let's be careful about that. I was hearing of it for the first time today. It's an INEC process within the confines of INEC. I don't want to use the words you use are quite strong. It's a coven. It's almost as if a secret cult. That's not what it should be. You're right. You're quite right. But maybe this is the first step, the first engagement, and I hope that there'll be a series of engagements where opportunities are given to stakeholders, to the media, and above all to the electorate, to let them know this is what we're doing. When they explained that digital EC8A, it seemed to make a lot of sense, but it still has some challenges in itself. What role is it going to play? The Electoral Act is quite clear. The Electoral Act has dealt comprehensively with how results should be transmitted. It did not recognize electronic. It says the result is EC8A that is signed by the party agents and by the presiding officer and party agents is scanned. That is what it recognizes. So if you're going to do any other form of thing, what role is it going to play? Is it going to override that specified in the Electoral Act?
You have about 3 versions now.
Yes.
The physical copy?
Yes.
The
scanned copy, IREF copy,
and
then
the
digital one.
The electronic
what role
from
is that
PCA?
going to play? If you put in your guidelines, it's going to play a preeminent role over and above those recognized by the law, then you're going to have a problem with the judiciary.
Look at this, Mr. Oluwole.
Yes.
Bring back that slide and look at it.
Yes.
In the Form EC8A uploads to the IRF in the Ekiti governorship election.
Yes.
Before the first upload appeared, it took 1 hour 40 minutes.
That's understandable.
Yeah,
because
I mean,
you have to count, you have to sort out, and everything else. You have to get people, for smaller polling units. No problem at all about that. You can take an hour, you can take that, and then satisfy yourself, do all the protocols, and upload.
And guess what happened? Just in 16 minutes, 1,107 result sheet came in one fell swoop.
Why? How? We must interrogate that. I think there's a need for an explanation.
There's a name for it. It's a technical magic. If there's a technical glitch, there's a technical
magic. We don't want magic in our elections.
1 hour 52 minutes, near total pause after 84%. Yeah. All of a sudden, there's just a quiet.
Radio silence.
Well, at that stakeholders meet, did INEC explain this? What was the explanation?
The honest truth is that there was no satisfactory explanation as far as most of us were concerned. We just didn't quite understand it. I'm not too sure they have interrogated this data, why it was like that. I did not hear any satisfactory explanation about that. So glossed over it. But it's something, there are some take-homes, and it's a beginning of a conversation.
Yeah, so go back. So look at the graph.
Yes.
The first result hit the IRF 140 minutes after close of poll at 4:10.
Yes.
748 sheets in 5 minutes at 6:37 p.m. 748 sheets in 5 minutes. 112 minute pause at 84%. Yes. So you have over almost 2 hours of silence. Nothing happened. Yes. At 11:12, the result ended at 96. The upload ended at 96. Because whatever that has gone wrong, these guys need to know that the game is up. Nigerians cannot be deceived any longer. Correct. This showed that something went wrong. Something happened. Technically speaking, it's unacceptable. You cannot manipulate what is now recognized by law.
Absolutely. And the important thing is that IREV is a simple, straightforward process. You scan. Once the results have been declared, EC8A, you put in, you scan it and upload it. And a lot of people expect it to be done real time. But I think there are certain protocols that INEC has to validate the word that we kept hearing in the course of today's event. They validate to ensure that result that they're going to upload is actually that result. That's okay. But you have to tell us, and you have to show us the protocols, and there has to be some transparency. It shouldn't be so opaque that we don't know, because we don't want human intervention, even if it's for good cause. And from the explanations, it was for good cause.
There is something, and perhaps this is how you help us throw us out of the studio, Mr. Uzi. You handle it. And some of you were literally living with us here in the studio during elections. But what has been a major problem under Professor Amupiton is public communication.
Correct. Correct.
If INEC is going to fail in 2027, I'm very certain that two things can kill this commission: communication and technical issues. Yes. If they don't handle it well, it shows that they've improved on operation and logistics, but communication and technical aspect of their operation, they need to look at it. If there's one word that you need to give to the public as regarding the general and the global picture of things tonight, on what INEC is doing and what is done in Ekiti ahead of Osun, what would that be?
I think every opportunity we should interrogate what INEC is doing. And I'm sure they're listening and watching your program, and INEC has to take, and it came out very clearly today that you must communicate. Even with technical glitch, maybe from privately they give us some explanations. Publicly, they've never really explained what public glitch is. And communication, the lack of communication was a major issue. So no matter how good an election you communicate, if anything goes wrong, if anything goes separate from how you plan it, you must communicate. I think it's very important. Right. That is the only way to reassure people and to build confidence. That's the only way.
Mr. Oluwole Osazuzi, a very senior lawyer, a former Attorney General of Edo State, and served as Director, Voter Education and Publicity at INEC. Many thanks, as always. It's a pleasure having you on the program tonight.
Always
Thank you so much indeed. That's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm sure Kimberly, God bless you.